Hello, everybody, and welcome back to an amazing new episode of CLX Foundry Live. I'm your host, DG Blue PDX, and I'm here with none other than our lead technical expert, Paul Steffens, and our master builder, Zach Killingsworth. And we've got a brand new thing to show you all, which is super fun. We don't call it the fish tank, but it definitely is referred to it as that, and I think it's a beautiful thing. So we've got a brand new case to show you, a whole new motherboard to show you. We've got so many things to do it, but first, let's talk about what we're shoving in that box. Paul?
All right. So, going inside of this, starting out with our processor, we've got the AMD Ryzen 7 9700X. To cool that, we've got a CLX Quench 360 AIO in black with the RGB cap. For our motherboard, we've got an Asus ROG Strix X870E-E gaming Wi-Fi, double E's, and 2 sticks of G.Skill 32GB DDR5 6000 speed tray Z5. So a total of 64 gigs of memory in the system. For our storage drive, we have a single 2TB Samsung 990 Pro NVMe drive. And for our video card, we've also got an Asus ROG Strix RTX 4080 Super. Very beautiful looking card there. For our case fans, we've got 7 of the Fantex D30 fans. Now, these are a little bit different, and we'll talk more about those as we get in the show because some of them are reverse flow. And then for our power supply, we've got an EVGA 850 watt 80 plus gold GT Supernova power supply with a cable mod cable kit. And then last but not least, this is a brand new case. This is the Evolv X2 in black. These are offered in white as well.
There we go. Awesome. And that availability will be coming up in the near future. So, but right now, Zach, this is our first time with this case. I'm loving whatever the base is because it reminds me of the big giant. Whoa, what is that?
So this is the top panel right here. Now this part is plastic. All the other panels are glass, which is pretty nice.
Okay.
Power buttons here and all this, and these just pop out pretty nicely, which I like.
That seems pretty easy. So what's the giant case that you guys, that Zach, usually that you do a lot of the network, the server elements in?
The Elite.
Big one. The Elite. There we go. The Elite. The Elite has a footprint. I say that's not a footprint. The base. If you look at the base, the way that it's stacked up, it reminds me of the Elite case. I don't think we've actually built the Elite case on here just because it's so big that cameras can't fit it in.
Show, yes.
Oh, you've done it on the after show?
Yeah, I've built 3 or 4 on the after show.
Well, I guess I have to go back and rewatch some of our YouTube videos. By the way, if you ever want to see a build that you haven't seen before, you can head over to our YouTube channel. That is at CLX Gaming. Check it out. Now, that looks like it was fairly easy to take apart. I'm very happy about that. I really do want to look at the bottom before, like at some point, we have to look at that bottom.
Yeah. But we can pull it back up here.
I want
to talk a little about this. It's kind of like a pedestal that it's on right here, which is pretty nice.
Can you lean that back a little bit to the side so I can... Oh, look at that. So it provides an open gap. I mean, literally, you could not have to worry about sitting that on things because it's already separated and raised. It's a great gap. Obviously, ventilation is super important for keeping your PC cool. And that I love. It's also got a lower amount of power supply, I would say, array. I don't know why I just turned orange. And then we've got our hard disk drive base. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah, something that stands out a lot on this case to me is like this section right here. You'll be able to notice it a lot more once the parts are in, but everything fits really nicely. So, yeah, I think this is a pretty cool case after seeing it and working with it a little bit.
Oh, and I love the back. It's got the recessed back. Now, is there a back panel or is that just the back?
Now this is just the back, so our I/O shield is going to be right here, as you'll see one there. Now we do have this kind of cool fan grill right here, so our fan mounts there. Something that was weird for me is to get our fans mounted, we obviously have 2 screws here, and then you would go 2 screws into the side panel. So this is like a deep well in there where that screw will go.
Okay, I was like, is there special screws that you have to have for that?
Yeah, no, a regular screw will fit in there. You just kind of need a longer screwdriver, which we always use anyways.
There we go. I'm not an after show watcher. Ben Shushan. Hi. First of all, what's up, dude? How are you? I'm usually streaming during the after show, but now I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch some things. But just I'll let Zach finish that prep, and then we'll go into what we're going to be doing. SSDs. It's our first time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's our first time using this case. It's a brilliant case, but it's also the first time we're using this motherboard. So this is the brand new ROG Strix X870E gaming Wi-Fi motherboard. And this, look at that. Now, okay, I have a question. Most previous ROG Strix motherboards have had what we called the button. Now, there's a button that says push. What does that do? What?
Boom, M.2.
That's your quick release for an M.2 slot?
Check it out.
What?
We'll just put it in since we're already right here.
Yep, screw it.
time
Let's
at
just
all.
go ahead and do it. That is going to be our 2 terabyte Samsung 990 Pro NVMe M.2. That is so fast.
I told you we would have this built pretty quickly today.
Now, is there still a presence of the button?
No, this has the quick release spring mechanism.
Yeah, the new,
their new
PCIe
spring
lock
thing
is a little different for ASUS. Now, every brand is doing their own thing. This one is a little different, so there isn't a button like Zach's showing you right there. It's spring-loaded back. Once you have the card in there, it will lock in place, but then you kind of tilt the card up on this side, and it releases. So.
But and the card, of course, will be below where the M.2s are, which makes it so much easier to install an M.2. Mm-hmm. Now, the space to the left, is that also an M.2 cover?
Yep, there's 2 M.2 slots under there. This is actually all one piece. It kind of looks like this is a piece and this is a separate one, but this is all one. No
kidding.
Yep.
So we've got obviously great heat sinks there. I would love to. Can we take a look at the connectivity for this board? All right, coming up from. Oh my lord, this is so jacked. It's not even fair. All right, we've got 4. Oh my dear God. 2 USB 4 40 gig ports. They are, and 2 of them are USB-C. Okay, and those are right there. And that means 20 gigs up and 20 gigs down. Then we've got our USB 20 gig port, and one is with, and it's a USB Type-C, but with up to a 30 watt power distribution fast charge. That means you can charge things like my headphones in a miracle level time. It's incredible. 10 different USB 10 gig ports. There are 9 Type A's, 1 Type C. And that means you've got, that's 10 gigs, 5 up, 5 down, or whichever direction you're going. You got your HDMI port, obviously your Wi-Fi, your 5 gig Ethernet. Hello, Internet. And then you've got your gold-plated jacks down at the bottom, along with your BIOS and clear CMOS. Good Lord, this thing is stacked. That's a fast board. Oh, and of course they've got their brilliant designs on the back end. Which now, are we going to be able to see much of that back end in this case? Because this case does have a rear glass panel.
Now, most of that will be covered up by the motherboard tray in the case. We'll be able to see a little bit of it, but we won't be able to see like the whole image on the bottom of it.
Gauge Raider, we got Monk Picks. Hey, it's Monk Picks, the winner of the latest giveaway that was done. Hello, my friend. How are you? Good to see you. Over on the kick side, on the purple side, we've got obviously Ben Shushan. Kirschlong is in the house. We've also got Kenneth D, Yesver, and G Code, and Cosworth, and Necro. Look at everybody showed up today. This is fantastic. I'm excited. I'm so excited. Now, up next, we got to make pretty sure we give this thing a brain. The brain for this is going to be an AMD Ryzen 7 9700X processor. These are pretty baller. So, Paul, why are these awesome?
So this is a brand new AMD Ryzen here, like you said, DJ. It's an 8-core, 16-thread processor. It's got a base speed of 3.8, and it will boost all the way up to 5.5. So it's going to crush everything.
Gauge Raider does bring up a very good point. This case looks awesome. I could see someone doing an ill-advised mineral oil PC build in it. Yeah.
It's definitely got fish tank vibes.
It's got the vibes, but please do not try that with this case.
I don't think it's sealed up. You might make a big old mess.
And you know how I feel about my seals.
Like them plugs.
Oh, sorry. Moving forward. We just put some thermal paste on there. How does the thermal paste work there, Zach? How do you know how much to put in?
Yes, so on our squares, we want to use about the size of a pea, and that will get smushed out perfectly across the whole processor.
Oh yeah.
That's a GIF if I've ever seen one. Listen, okay, if you can make it, I'll take it.
Clip it.
Curselong asks, does it ship with a wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man? I mean, yes. I will come to your house and pretend to be an inflatable tube man. Speaking of tubes, what we've got going in right now is our way of cooling our processor. Now, this is our CLX Quench 360. It's an AIO in black. It's got an RGB cap on it. But some people keep asking, and I love it when the questions come in, so we're just going to go ahead and tackle this one ahead of time. Paul, what's an AIO, and how many different ways are there to cool your processor? Why is it important?
Yeah, it's a great question. So it's your processor. You obviously need to cool it one way or the other. I prefer going with an AIO, which stands for all-in-one. That's what Zach just installed right here. This is a 360, so that refers to the size of this radiator here that I've got in my hand. We have 3 120 millimeter fans on it. These things are really easy to install. They come with a bunch of different sets of hardware for all the different motherboard sockets. So you just grab the right hardware that matches your motherboard socket. Like for this one, this is an AM5 socket, so we grab the AM5 hardware and you're pretty much good to go. You can see Zach's already got it completely installed. We just have to plug in the RGB cable and the pump power cable, and that's it. So
there you go.
Great option for keeping that processor cool.
Kerslong mentions, can you do a segment called Money Shot, where Zach shoots thermal paste on the CPU? And Temperance is also, oh my God. Kerslong's like, don't ban me, please, for the love of God. And Temperance mentions, man, Zach's hair grows fast. I would be jealous if I wanted long hair. There you go. So now Zach, what Zach's doing right now is he's routing the power. Is it just the power, or the power and the RGB together in one cord? Oh, there's two. There's two different things. One's for RGB, one's for cable. So, Zach, explain to me what you're doing and how you're doing this.
Oh, I got you. So what's going on here, Zach's routing those cables around our retention kit. Now, we like to do it like this because it hides the cables, makes it look like a really clean build. If you're going to do it this way at home, just be careful that you don't pull those cables super tight. We don't want the cable to get pinched up between the AIO and the processor itself. So now we're plugging it in. So this one has a 3-pin RGB connector, so that's what's plugged in on the right there. And then our 4-pin header that goes into our AIO pump header on the motherboard is plugged in as well. Then you can take the slack from these and kind of do whatever you want. Sometimes we'll put it around the back of the board, as you can see Zach doing. But yeah, it's all the way plugged in and done.
Now, we did get a question coming in from Mr. Perfect Cell 69 over there on the purple side. And no, this is an internal first build. This is our first time building with this case and this board. So this is going to be for the marketing. It's going to be for testing for the new upcoming Evolv 2X case. Keep your eyes on our website, clxgaming.com, for more info in the future once it's available. Right now, though, look at that. I think it's time for, click that back. It's like Legos, but better. But RAM. We got to ram something into slots 2 and 4, and that is going to be two 32 gig sticks of G.Skill DDR5 6000. It's Trident Z5 black with RGB. This is one of... I cannot say enough about G.Skill. If you're going to go with a RAM, go with some G.Skills. It is, but the Trident Z5, I don't think we've actually done a Trident Z5 yet. Have we?
I'm not sure, we might have before. Definitely not super common though.
Yeah, no, absolutely great. Love it. Love it a lot.
Right, so typically this is where we would put the fans on the radiator, because we like to do everything outside of the case, but this case is a little different. So we're gonna, are we mounting the board first, Zach, and then putting the AIO in? Okay. Yeah.
So speaking of the things that we're mounting, I had to explain this to a friend of mine. One of my besties from the Navy, who's passed, his sister and I are very close, and her son I had to go there yesterday and help him fix his PC, and luckily the things that I learned on this show was super helpful, because I got to explain what standoffs were, and I get to explain why they're important, and the fact that he only had 2 bothered me.
2 is not that many.
There's 9. I need you. Where are the rest of them? I don't know. I didn't think they were needed. Oh my God. So, for those of you who may think, I've got 2 screws that'll mount it to the case. It'll be fine. Paul, why is that not accurate?
So you want to have all the standoffs in there so that your board's secured properly. Now, the biggest reason to have these standoffs in place is so that your motherboard isn't touching the frame of the chassis, because then you're going to have bare metal touching the back of your motherboard, which can cause things to short out and cause all sorts of problems. This is a great shot to show you what those standoffs do. You can see the motherboard and how it's not at the bottom of the case. That's exactly what those standoffs do.
It just sits just above it like that, which is fantastic. And you can tell where those screws need to go in because they're soldered. There's like a solder flower, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, there's like that shiny silver solder lands around there. You'll see Zach hit him when he's putting these screws in right now.
Zach, who's currently trying to also get sponsored by Vidal Sassoon.
Try me, Ben Sushan. I bet I can. throw me a complicated life concept.
Oh, dude, there's you. Be careful what you ask for, Paul.
Bring it on. Make a great reel.
Right, there we go. So yesterday, his hard drive just crashed and wouldn't start. The platters are in place. There's nothing loose inside. It's just everything inside is screwed up. So I brought him an M.2 that I have, a terabyte M.2, I was like, look, just put this in and start there, and you can use this to help figure out what the hell you did there. The thing that I did ask was, how many antiviruses did you have installed? He said, well, I had 3. On top of Windows Defender? Yeah, I just want to be safe. Don't do this, people. And I'm gonna explain to you why. And I'm explaining this as somebody who works for Microsoft on this team for this project. Okay. Previously, you had operating systems, and then you had your antivirus. When we made Windows 10 and the same thing in 11, we built the security protocol first and did the operating system around it so that it's the only thing that has access to the operating system. So if you're putting in third-party antiviruses, you are doing a disservice, because then you've got multiple antiviruses trying to conflict, and they aren't going to function well together and could possibly create major issues in the performance of your system. So if you've got extras, I can't give you advice, but I know that if I had extras, I would uninstall them. That's me.
And with that, there's not.
Yeah, he's so confident. Is he okay? Listen, when I know something, I know something. I know something. But yeah, I use Windows Defender. Yes, ditto. And with Windows Defender, I haven't had a damn thing go wrong. So now let's jump back to these fans, because these fans are wicked. These are Fantex D30s. They're 120 millimeter. Obviously, they're RGB and black. Paul, these are incredible for a whole new reason. Tell everyone about them.
Yeah, so these fans are awesome. They connect together like this. So this is just the other intake fans that we're going to be having in the bottom of our case. But essentially they're connected just like the ones going on the radiator. They clip in together. There's actual connections inside of here. These are little covers off. I'm not going to, or covers over them. I'm not going to take them off since we've already got them together, and they're a little bit fragile. I don't want to break them. But essentially we've obviously got 3 fans here and just 2 cables, one for power, one for RGB. So that's why we love these. Now the other thing that's unique about them is these ones that I have in my hand are reverse flow, which, like we talked about on the show, typically when you see the fan grill like this is your exhaust side. But these D30 fans, they don't want you to see this fan grill. They want you to see this side. So this is actually our exhaust. So if you really know what you're looking at, you can tell the pitch of the fan blade on these is different than, say, this one I'm holding up next to it.
Oh, I see. I see.
You can tell there. But yeah, you can't just tell the fan grill on these ones.
Okay. I know that. So, first of all, Kanzu's like, that's why I don't use Windows. Valid. Yevzer. Those, don't mistake antivirus and firewalls. They're 2 different things. JK Access Money is going to be doing a build with a 5090.
Oh, nice.
That sounds a lot of fun. Definitely let us know how that goes. That sounds great.
To get our hands on those for sure.
Let's see here. Cosworth mentions, when I had a running machine, I used Kaspersky. Oh, God, dear God, why? antivirus exclusively and never had any problems whatsoever. Here's a fun fact. First of all, let's take a look at our case real fast, and then I'm going to tell you something that people probably don't realize. The number one reason behind blue screen errors in the early 2000s was because of Norton and Adobe. Now, at this time, before I worked for Microsoft, I worked for Adobe. And Adobe's encryption is pretty legit and unbreakable.
It's legit like these plastic ribs with Velcro straps on it. Yeah, yeah.
Hey!
I love some ribs.
There we go. Velcro straps. Tell us all about. Well, hold on. Let me do this real quick. When you have an antivirus software that doesn't understand what it's looking at when it comes to encrypted transmissions, okay, you would go to download the Adobe Acrobat or Reader from their site. Well, it sends it in an encrypted format. And the antivirus is going to go, hey, what about Norton? Oh yeah, Norton Truck Gamer. Hey, yeah, hi over the yes. And Norton was the one that was the biggest one we had issues with.
I also heard of who.
Because it takes apart and then it takes apart the signal that's coming to look for anything that's registered as a potential virus, right? But the problem is it doesn't have the encryption key. It doesn't know how to put it back together. So what it does do is it goes, all right, we're just gonna, I hope this works, and then push it onto your drive, and then you install it. Well, it's already fractured. It's already got a flaw in it because it didn't come through completely. And then as that continues, it creates a larger and larger cycle of problems because it's not functioning the way that it should. And we had to tell people for years to turn off Norton, turn off all of your antivirus before you download it, because otherwise it's not going to interpret it correctly. But nowadays, with all things Windows Defender, it never has a problem. It doesn't have a problem. Now, I'm glad if you guys have had other great experiences with antiviruses, but I will definitely stand behind the fact that we built an amazing software with Windows Defender. But yeah. Truck Gamer 43, by the way, thank you for popping in and asking questions over on YouTube. And this goes to everybody else. If you've got questions, please ask. We love answering questions. That's literally my job. To make sure everybody's got questions. Now, I have a question about the, once again, amazing feature on this brand new case, and that is the Velcro straps. Zach?
Yeah, what would we like to know about these are
how did they help you when it comes
best.
How do they help you when it comes to cable management?
They bring in the good vibes.
True.
And good vibes is how you build computers.
Vibes-based gaming.
Mm-hmm. They just allow you to organize everything in the right spot. I like using zip ties and Velcro straps because it lets you bundle everything up exactly where you need it to be.
Nice. Jumping over to the kick side, Gatorade says, that's why I love CLX, though, no bloatware. Absolutely correct. We just gave you a clean install of Windows. That's it. Nothing nuts. KG mentions, I'm waiting for benchmarks. When will you test out 50 series or start building them? Good question.
Yeah, that's a good question, KG. So I'm not sure exactly when we're going to get any of the 50 series cards in. It should be very soon, but I don't have like a date I can give you. I can tell you as soon as we get one, I'm sure we will have one on the show.
There we go. Jumping down here, Norton, McAfee, and AVG are ones that I will never use. I used to use AVG, but now once I got the job at Microsoft, I was like, argh. Gio's job is to redirect questions to Paul. I mean, sometimes, or to ask questions, or to be the ridiculous comedic sidekick. To be honest, I am funny. Jimmy Yo asks, is an 8320E 8-core processor still good for gaming?
Depends what game you're playing, but I remember those processors back in the day. If it's the old AMD processors that you're talking about, there was like the 8350 and 8320, and sometimes they would come in like metal tins, which was really cool to have. You can probably still get a good frame rate at 1080p on some games, but those things are definitely showing their age. So, you know, I can't say it's good for gaming unless you're playing like Oregon Trail or something like that.
Yeah.
If it's playing what you want to play at a good frame rate and it's not causing any performance issues, then yeah, it's good. But no, if you're talking like current modern stuff, you can probably still do it, but I'd recommend going with something newer.
And nothing says Oregon Trail like getting diphtheria while your family accidentally careens off a cliff in their wagon, and you lose not only your family, but then you have to sit in timeout in the classroom in the fourth grade.
Is AVG a
And I'm not saying that I accidentally, my family died like 3 times in one like quarter of, because we did it over and over and over again to talk about everything. So when I was in, okay, I'm not going to do this. I am going to do this.
Do it.
The original Oregon Trail was just monochrome line text based, and then we played it to look at, and it was, yeah, no, my family always died of something. Speaking of people who are... Nah, that's not actually a thing I should say. Michael, over on the YouTube side, says, do some units' fans are only controlled by a remote? I mean, sometimes they come with the remote.
It just depends on, you know, which fans you've got in the fan controller. Each company is going to have their own proprietary connections and controller boxes with them. So it's not like a solid yes or no, but there are some fans that are. Now the fans we're using on here, we obviously have Fantex fans going inside of a Fantex case, so it's going to tie in nicely with the RGB built in. So we'll be able to do all of our fan controls there, and then we can also control it via motherboard software.
Yes. This is a great shot, by the way, because it's so for some of our other cases that we've done, we've had what are grommets, because they have been 2/3 or 3/4 built. So how does this compare to that when it comes to the depth where the actual motherboard is?
So this still has some rubber grommets that you
right
can see there, but it is like a hard cutoff line.
That is the, wait for it, and that is here's our PCB of our motherboard. This is the back of the case. PCB
nice.
of the
That's
motherboard.
Great.
The glass literally goes right here.
So I'm going to ask the obvious question.
Less than a thumb, half of a thumb.
So that is a 7/8 case. Paul, why is it helpful and important to have that gap in the back of the case like this? How does this help?
So there's a few things. Now for this case, our power supply and extra storage drive, if we had one, is going to go right here, power supply back here. So we don't need a ton of room here, but just having a little bit allows us room to do some cable management. You can see these Velcro straps are going to hold it down. We still probably got an inch or two of space between the motherboard tray and the actual back of the chassis, but really it's just for routing cables. Like Zach pointed out at the beginning, this is just an extra slot here for 2.5-inch drives. So you can see we can fit 1, 2, 3 there. Just a little thumb screw right here that comes out, and we'll pull it out.
Nice. Also, for anybody who orders their PC, please make sure that you don't throw out the accessories box. You'll never know when you might need screws or other things. Yeah. Please don't. I just had to deal with that with Cody, and I laughed. So I was like, he's like, I don't know. My uncle did this, and I was like, well, here we go. So I may actually see if I have standoffs. Now, are standoffs universal, by the way? Is that a thing that actually is true or no?
So no, but there's two kinds of standoffs. You have coarse thread and fine thread. So that's going to be, depending on the case that you have, it's been pre-drilled for coarse thread or fine thread. Let's go ahead and show those fans going in. Yeah. So if it's a coarse thread going into a fine thread, you're going to notice it as soon as you start to tighten it. It's going to feel real tight, almost as if you're like cross-threading it.
Yeah, because you're cross-threading, yeah.
But if you've got a fine thread going into a coarse thread hole, it's going to almost like drop in there a little bit further. It's going to go in way too easy. So that's how you know.
Got it. Good things. Thank you for the
these
tips. Now, we're
fans
talking
going
about
in
the
there.
install of the fans. Let's
Look at
talk
this.
about this real fast.
I love this. This is probably my favorite thing about this case is the way
Now-
these intake fans are mounted.
Well, and these fans connect to each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best part. They just snap, snap, snap.
Yeah, so these
There we go.
These G30s are definitely making our life a lot easier when installing these because we just have to run one cable through a little hole there. You can see it
Yeah.
right there.
Now there's
It's
this
almost like a
giant
little-
space down below that is what will eventually become where our PSU is going to be installed.
See, look at that.
And
the fans
power
are
supply unit.
flush.
That is so tight, dude.
I like it. And there's just a set screw in the back. That's what Zach's tightening right now to lock that in place.
What? Well, that's fantastic.
It's cool.
I like it. I like it. Intake fans on the bottom.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you usually have an intake there. So, now, obviously, we've got more air, like air being drawn up through the bottom. And how does this work with that type of a base on the case?
So since we have this base here, we don't have to worry about like any carpet or anything getting sucked up in here. We've got this gap that's always going to be maintained. We've also got vent holes in here that you can't really see unless you're, you know, kind of deep in here. But there is a dust filter. I'll try to slide it like that.
Oh,
you
cool.
can see it right there. So that'll provide filter for all of our air coming in.
I like it. I like it. Now we're gonna have, let's see, we've got a total of 7 fans going into this build. We've got, so 3 in, 3 out, plus the exhaust.
Yeah, we've got 3 coming in, 4 going out. Now the 3 at the top that does have some restricted airflow because of the radiator. So this should be a pretty balanced system.
Temperance asked a great question. Can we have an AIO on the bottom of the case?
So we haven't done that in this case yet. Now you probably could. It's going to be a little bit taller, so you're going to want to watch the bottom of your motherboard so that you're not bumping into that. But this was definitely designed to have your AIO up top. Another reason you wouldn't want to put the radiator in the bottom is that would make your pump above the radiator. So any air that's inside that is going to circulate through the pump, which you don't want to do. It's not going to absolutely destroy it right away or anything. It's just something you want to avoid if you can.
Michael over on the YouTube side asks, what's a pet peeve when watching other people build PCs?
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, man.
And here
I probably don't
Michael
watch
with
a lot.
the question of the show. Let's go.
Oh, boy. Who we calling out today? No, I don't watch a lot of it. There's a lot of people that do. Okay, here's a fair one that can apply to a lot of people. Like, building your motherboard when it's already installed in the case. So like if we got everything out, put our motherboard into the case and then started installing our processor and our memory, that's probably like a pet peeve of mine. But it's not like it's a wrong build practice. It's just whoever's building it is just making their life harder than it needs to be.
I'm going to raise my
Maybe
hand
that's
on
a pet
that one.
peeve. I don't know.
Anything
Anything you see, Zach, on other PC builders that's a pet peeve to you?
Yeah.
Or just around here?
Building with lights.
Oh, yeah.
Get good. Build in dark rooms.
Wait, hold on.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, building. Yeah, there you go. Considering we built a bunch of things in the dark at DreamHack that one time, we were literally using phone flashlights to help light the space. And just to amplify what he said, Michael, I'll say this: it took me 6 hours the first time I tried building a PC because I kept having to pull the motherboard out for cabling because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Let's see here. Jumping back up over to the purple side. Can you have... Temperance mentioned the only thing you add to the motherboard when it's in the case is the GPU, unless it's a pre-built and you are adding, like, hard drives.
Nice.
Ben Shushun mentioned Zach is such a tryhard. Yes, that is accurate. And that's why we love him. Absolutely. So, KG asks a good question. Gloves or no gloves?
I use gloves sometimes when I want some extra grip. So I'm not like partial to one way or the other. It's kind of nice to have them on when you can pick up stuff. But I find that my fingertips get caught in zip ties a lot when I do it. So I'll like zip tie my finger in and I gotta like rip my glove to get it out. So
It's cold right now, so I really don't want to be wearing gloves right now because my hands are just like, I bet if I went like that, all of the water would just go into my elbows and be like, ugh, ugh.
Yeah. The latex gloves are not the best for heat.
Yeah.
I zipped something once and it wasn't a glove.
Yep.
Oh dear God. The Zach blindfold build is coming. Yes. So Lethal Wick over on the YouTube side. Hi, what's up, dude? Asks, are CLX RTX 5070 PCs going to be available at launch?
We'll see. I can't confirm or deny that. I don't have any secrets that I'm like trying to be cryptic about. I just don't know yet. We are going to do everything we can to have those ready. Yes, but
Tag.
It all depends.
Find out about the latest and greatest
when we get them.
When we get them, you'll know because they'll be available on clxgaming.com. Wow, that was so nice. How about a hot chip challenge build? Oh dear God.
Hot chip.
And Peterson.
Oh my gosh.
First of all, welcome to the show.
Maybe.
No.
I don't know.
You gonna start hiccuping? You start hiccuping
I
right
hiccup
now.
so bad. We've got a lot of hot sauces here in the office, and my boss will custom make his own hot sauces with peppers that he grows, and that's what happens. I can handle a lot of spice, but once it gets once it's past like a jalapeno, like I just start hiccuping. Like I can't help. So I'd be hiccuping like all show, and that hot chip challenge looks
so fun.
Yeah, it looks intense.
Scotch bonnets are about where I hold my limit on.
Hey.
Oh,
It's this one. Hey.
Oh,
You
switch.
do you. It's that meme. You do you. You send us in some chips, we'll do it. You send us chips, we'll do it.
No.
You send, and you write on the cover, Paul eats 2, Zach eats 1, and we'll do it. You
Please.
do it.
I
do
feel
not
like
do
we
this,
might have
please, for the
to
love
if you
of
send
God.
us in one. Man,
oh
I'll
God.
eat the whole thing.
if y'all send us a hot chip challenge, I guess.
Real quick, Paul, can you repeat your answer for Michael about pet peeves when you watch other people build PCs?
Yeah,
he missed the answer.
Michael, so my pet peeve when watching that, if I had to pick something, would be when people are building the motherboard. They'll install their motherboard in the chassis first and then start putting in the processor, AIO, memory. Whenever I see that, I'm just like, you're making your life harder than it needs to be. Now, there might be some really rare cases where you have to do that in some super unique cases, but 99.9% of the time, you don't need to do that. Build that motherboard outside of the case.
KG has a great question. Is there an order that you normally put together the PC in, or is this the standard order you build?
So pretty much, yes, there definitely is an order we do things in. Now we start with the motherboard. Now you can do M.2, RAM, processor, AIO in any order you want. I typically start with the processor just because I don't want to bend the pins on the motherboard. Once you get your processor locked in, it's like, okay, everything is like safe. So I do that first, and then you go to your M.2, RAM, and your AIO. And then after that, once you get your motherboard mounted inside the case, it depends on your fans and other cables, but typically we start plugging in all of our case cables first. So like the power button, light button, USB ports that are on the case, plug those in, manage those, then move on to the fans, and then move on to the power supply cables. Sometimes we'll do the cables in a little bit different order, but most of the time that's how we do it. Blindfold
now,
challenge,
speaking of
we
things,
could definitely do that. I think we could build a PC blindfolded for sure.
Now, speaking of blindfolded, I want to talk about how blindly awesome the thing that we just mounted. Speaking of which, we've secured it in the case. It is our power supply unit. It is an EVGA Supernova 850 watt GT 80 plus gold, and it is what we call modular. So, Zach or Paul, what does it mean when it says modular, and how many different types of PSUs are there?
So you pretty much got 3 different types of power supplies. You got modular, like the one we're using here, non-modular, and then semi-modular. So a modular power supply like this one here, none of the cables are pre-soldered in, so you can just take the cables that you need for the build like we've done, and plug those in and then plug them into the power supply after it's been built, it leaves you with no extra cables, which is really nice for cable management. And if you ever upgrade later, you can just plug in an extra SATA or whatever you need. Non-modular would be all the cables are pre-soldered in, so when you're done with the build, you're going to have some extras that you need to bundle up. And then semi-modular is just a mix between the both. If we get someone to send in the one-chip challenge, I'm going to fake a Dorito being that.
Yeah,
and just
that's fine.
look like a boss.
That's fine.
Now, one of the cool things about modular power supplies that are unique is cable mods. Can you talk about cable mods for a second before we jump into the graphics card?
Yeah. So
that's a great example right here where you can see it.
Yeah, we do
Zach's
have
doing.
a cable mod custom sleeved cable kit in this. So that is a nice thing about a modular power supply. You can buy custom sleeve cables. You can get these in any different colors. They can be all blue, all red, all green, all orange, or you can get a couple different colors. So like black, red, black, blue, black, white, all that good stuff. It's just a nice finishing touch on your build. It doesn't add anything performance-wise, but it really does look nice.
There we go. All right, now we've got something else to plug in here, and this is going to be really fun. It is our graphics card, and this is going to be an Asus ROG Strix RTX 4080 Super. My God, that is a thick card.
It is a large
Baby got
card.
back. Damn! Look at that. Their back plates are always just so perfect. But I love the way they've sealed off the ends. It's all contained. But that is that a 3 slot?
Yeah, so this has 2 slots for the PCIe cover, but the heatsink obviously goes farther than that. So yeah, I would consider this a 3 or 3.5 slot.
Wow. DJ is catcalling the card right now. Accurate. Have native 12-pin, asks UG Red.
Yep, this cable mod kit does.
Yes, you can get a cable mod kit with the 6x2s or with the 12-volt high-power 16-pin cable. Oh, man, Paul, how am I going to screw this graphics card in?
Oh, shoot, I don't know. I can't even see those mounting holes there.
Okay, hold on. I have a quick question for this. So normally we've got cases that have an extended back and a base. But in this case, first of all, how heavy do you feel like that card is?
It's a heavy one for sure. It is a large card.
So how do you solve for the sag?
So we will be using an anti-sag bracket in this. Now we're going to do a couple different options, and we're going to test this after the show too, just to check on sag, because this is kind of a unique case. So we're going to have to do something special with the anti-sag bracket on this.
So can you explain to people what an anti-sag bracket is and why is it necessary in a case?
Yeah, so an anti-sag bracket is going to support the video card from the side that isn't mounted in. There we go. So this side is obviously where mounting screws go, and then there's no support over here on this side. So an anti-sag bracket just gives it extra support right here so that over time your card doesn't droop down and cause damage to the card or the motherboard.
Nice. All right. God, that card is gorgeous. And what's really cool, can you point at the LED strip on the outside? That's all going to light up. That's all going to light up.
Oh, nice.
It's going to look...
rectangle of light.
Yeah, Asus does some amazing things. Their ROG Strix line is just, like, this is all ROG Strix stuff. I love it. You pop it in, you let it go. Now, when you're putting that through... Any tips on how to make sure you've got it in the right spot?
Just want to hear that nice click from the PCIe clip and you're pretty much good to go. Now Zach removed the special cover for this, which I think is pretty cool about this case. So we'll show you that in just a sec. Check
nice.
this out.
Michael
Right
popped back in with the... Oh,
look at that.
That
looks clean.
Wow.
That's what I was pointing at
Okay, I'm going to be
earlier.
very honest. That's something I haven't seen on a case ever.
Me either. It looks nice. There's been a few different ways of like covering up that, but nothing like this.
Michael over on the YouTube side, oh, this is a good one. If you could have any fictional character build your next PC, who would it be and what unique features would they include?
Shrek.
Henry Cavill, and it would be a 40K themed build.
Ooh, that
Enough
would be
said.
pretty nice.
Deadpool.
I want Shrek
And it provides
with a
me
swamp water open loop.
Deadpool. Obviously, yeah, custom liquid cooler, but it would be Deadpool building it, and it has to just do nothing but have smart-ass remarks every time I touch a button or hit enter. I just want it to talk to me every time. Every time. Cosworth says, Kenneth was like, this is a super clean build. Cosworth, not gonna lie, I wish I knew about anti-sag brackets. Back when I had my 980 Ti, that thing drooped pretty badly.
Yeah, that was kind of when they started making. They were not really around back then.
Yeah, cards get any bigger, the case designers will reintroduce the brace pillar on them. Oh God, I forgot about those. Good Lord, I want to see Iron Giant build a mini ITX. Lots of fingers now. And Jack Black will be building yours. Oh, KG is like, I know what I'm doing. We're gonna let the Master Disaster get up in it. All right, so now as we put on this final back door, I want to show you. Oh my God, are you kidding me right now?
Smooth. Look at it. Beautiful.
That is so clean.
Oh, hi
It
there.
is so clean.
I didn't know you were over there gaming. You want to come over here and play some video games?
All right. Now, will we finalize and get, look at this. This looks so good. I'm so jazzed. While we finalize and put on the final pieces, the glass, I'm going to take you on a small adventure, and we're going to head over to a place where you can find a PC that's just what you need. It's clxgaming.com. So at clxgaming.com, we try and make it as easy as possible for you to create the PC of your dreams and to make sure that it does everything that you're going to need it to do. Whether it is a small build, a large build, wide build, we've got it all, and we carry basically everything. We're a one-stop shopping center for PCs. You want Intel? Great. You want AMD? Great. You want NVIDIA? Great. You want ARCs? Great. Do you want Radeons? We got all of them. Lots of fun. And you can't screw up the build with issues concerning compatibility. Because if you do that little button that you just saw turn from green to yellow, that's going to tell you what the issue is. So in this recommendation, so we've got power supply versus graphics card. So it's basically saying, all right, if you're going to go with the standard or whatever you had chosen for power supply, you're going to have to choose one of these graphics cards because it's not going to be enough. Or you can change and do a different power supply in order to keep your current graphics card. Once you solve the problem, it goes back to green and you can move right on. If you need extra drives, we got them. You want to overclock your CPU, your GPU, or even upgrade your thermal paste? Guess what? We can. All you have to do is just click on the buttons. And the best part is, it's great for content creators because if you head on over to the accessories panel, we've got everything you can imagine for streaming. Whether you want a capture card, we got Elgato. If you want mics, we've got Beacon mix crates and Beacon mics. Great way to control your setup. And then, we've got everything else. Keyboards, mice, controllers, headphones, we got them. Speakers, monitors, LCD little display things in there that you can check out all your stuff. We even have routers and chairs. People, this is the only place you have to go. And that's what it is. Now, I know that sounds really, really complex and kind of overwhelming. That's okay. We have a whole section dedicated to our ready to ship. We call it the RTS. Now, these computers are pre-built and they're amazing because they come in many different forms, whether you've got your beginner all the way up to ultra performance. This is going to give you a great idea as to what kind of pieces work together and are congruent with what else it goes with. Once you find something you love, it's ready to go. It's been tested and it is looking for a home, and who knows, that home might just be yours. So for all of your future PC needs, whether you're gaming, working, or otherwise, head on over to clxgaming.com and see what we can do for you. All right. Ooh.
Here, let's just go to the backside first.
Oh,
I winked. That's a first. All right. So, wow. There's so much glass on this thing.
Right there, Jason.
Oh, right there. Nailed it. Nailed it. My God. I'm still jazzed about the base of this thing. It looks next level. Like,
pretty cool.
that platform that it's sitting on. It's very Blade Runner-esque. All right, let's see what it's going to look like.
To come through with some light strips, so I can figure out how to do the classic underglow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that would
going,
look so awesome.
To where it looks like too fast, too furious, too fast to go.
Some racing decals on there. That'd be sick.
Yes, that's amazing. All right,
go for it?
are
You
we
wanna do
ready?
the honors
Do
today?
it, man.
Do it.
2,
1.
Blammy! Oh, great shot right there, by the way. And you can see that circular LED around the base of the graphics card. Cartoon. Look at that. I'm loving the way well, first of all, the D30s just on their own are incredible to begin with.
They look nice.
But now we've got the light shining up, got the light shining down. I'm loving this case personally. I think this is incredible. And it looks like there's an LED strip on the back side.
Yep, there's one on the back here goes up, and then you can see it at the top as well.
Oh, that's so
and then
cool.
we've got one on the very top of the chassis.
do it
Too. We might be able to.
That
There
is.
you go. Oh yeah.
Oh, nice. Got a little up lighting, got side lighting, got all sorts of lighting in there. That is fantastic. I love it. Let's go through once again what's inside this beautiful PC that we have just now testing out with some brand new equipment. Is our CLX Horus Evolv X2 that will be available soon on our website. It's got an AMD Ryzen 7 9700X processor that is being cooled by a CLX Quench 360 AIO with our black RGB. It's mounted onto an Asus ROG Strix X870E gaming Wi-Fi motherboard with 64 gigs of DDR5 6000 RAM thanks to G-Skill and Trident Z5. You've also got your ROG Strix RTX 4080 Super, plus it has a 2 terabyte Samsung 990 Pro in it for the operating system, 7 Fantex D30s, an EVGA Supernova 850 watt GT modular power supply, and a black cable mod kit. Basically, it's 4 seconds for being Skynet. I think this thing is rocking. I'm loving it. It's absolutely gorgeous. All right. Well done, gentlemen. Now, for the rest of you who are watching right now, let me go ahead and just throw this out there. This show happens in 2 stages, and in just a few, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, you're going to get to spend the afternoon with Zach as he continues building some amazing things. It's going to be awesome. So, with that being said, this show happens every Tuesday and Thursday, starting at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 Eastern. On Tuesdays, we're here on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube. On Thursdays, we're exclusively over on TikTok, which is still here. Okay. Now, for all of your... for anything you want to know about what's going on with CLX, there are so many ways to do it. First of all, you can follow our socials. That's YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at CLX Gaming. If you want to jump into our Discord with a bunch of like-minded PC enthusiasts and geeks like me, head on over to discord.gg/CLX Gaming. And then for everything else, just pop by, say hi. It's great. There you go. With that being said, on behalf of Kyle and Jason, Zach, and Paul of DJ Blue PDX, stick around. We got more coming up after the break. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Traffic.